I recently wanted to make the move from a membrane keyboard to a mechanical keyboard after seeing some custom builds on YouTube. Not wanting to break the bank, I decided to go with the HyperX Alloy Origins Core TKL keyboard as it fit my price point at about €110 or £99.99 on Amazon, and I'd seen a couple of reviews so I knew it was decent. In the box we have the keyboard itself, some manuals and some details on the software, and a USB Type-C to Type-A cable. The USB-C port is on the back of the keyboard and the Type-A port can be plugged into your desktop or laptop. Immediately when going to unwrap the inner plastic packaging that surrounds the keyboard, you can feel that there's a little bit of weight to the keyboard, and that's thanks to the aluminium case that surrounds the base of the keyboard. The keys on this are made of a double shot plastic, and overall the build quality feels excellent. It feels quite sturdy and feels like it's going to last. On the keyboard I bought aqua switches, which are the tactile type switches, but there is also an option for red linear switches. The keyboard is a low profile design, meaning you can see the switches at the base of the keys. Facing the rear of the keyboard on the left hand side is the Type-C USB power cable port. Unlike other keyboards, there are no additional USB ports to power other items, and I think that's just due to the low profile design and small size of the keyboard. Now getting into one of the major selling points for the keyboard, which is the RGB lighting. The low profile design of the keys allows a lot of light to flood out, and it really gives a nice aesthetic to the keyboard. There are 3 profiles pre-installed on the keyboard for RGB lighting, the first being a rainbow effect, the second being an all-key color change, and the third being an interactive press color change. Available for download with the keyboard is the Ingenuity software, which allows you to customize the keys and lighting settings. You can mix and match different profiles, and you can set certain keys to go off with certain color schemes. Also featured in here are triggered options, which I thought were pretty cool. So here I select the explosion trigger, and when you press on a key, it sends out a red wave across the keyboard. You can also rebind your keys, which is actually quite handy. So there's multimedia options there that you can rebind if you want to use certain keys as play, pause buttons, and you can also set up a number of macros through the software. Once you're finished, you just click Save to Keyboard and you select one of the 3 profiles to override it, and it's saved to your keyboard. Although I think the keyboard looks great in the stock matte black, I decided to go for white pudding keycaps, and the only reason for that is that I think they look cool. I think the white on black base aesthetic is really nice, and the keys themselves have a lower frosted region which allows a lot more light to escape. Inside the box we have the keys, which are strangely vac packed like fish in a supermarket, and there's the keyboard layout, just in case you've forgotten what a keyboard looks like, or you've looked at it for too long making a review for YouTube that you're going insane. While I practice my 3 shell game routine here, we can see that the keys are laid out in 3 individual packs, and for my keyboard we won't need them all because we don't have a numpad like a full keyboard would. Included in the pack as well is a key remover. To remove a key from the keyboard, use the key remover to press down gently on that key until you hear a click, and then pull up. To place a new key on, all you do is place it on top and press down with your hand until you hear a click again. My only advice when changing out keycaps is just to take your time with it. Do one at a time, or you can get lost quite easily, and it would be a shame to have to go back and redo some of it because you've put a comma instead of a Z and messed up your entire keyboard. Also, don't use too much force on the keys. They should come off quite easy with the key remover. Some of the larger keys will have stabilizers like the shift keys and the space bar as well, so just make sure you place the key remover in the center of the key and pull up gently. The whole key removal process took me about 20 minutes. It's quick enough, but it's really important. Just take your time and be methodic about it. At the end, like I said, I don't have a numerical keypad on this board because it's 10 keyless, so I had some extra keys left over and I just placed them in the box in case I want to change keys on a future keyboard. Just a note on some differences with the pudding keycaps. The secondary function symbols on the keys aren't there, so in this case the mute button isn't on F9 on the new keycaps, and there's a font change and some writing changes on the function keys too, so it's important just to make note of what your function keys were beforehand. Overall, I'm really happy with the change of keycaps. I really like the white aesthetic on the black base, and I think they let a lot more light through and they look really good. Here is the keyboard in its final resting place on my desk. I think it looks really good. I'm really happy with it. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this review. If you did, think about hitting that like button and maybe subscribing. And if you have any suggestions or ways to improve, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and reply to you. So thanks very much for watching. See you guys.